why
don't know.
why is Passover on Tuesday?
All right, Matt, if you can pull up that PowerPoint.
Sure.
All right.
And I think that this will help. It's going to go down a few slides, and it'll say timing of Passover right at the top. But it's probably, I don't know, a third of the way down, and there's a lot of slides in this, unfortunately. So you're going to have to search a bit. But while he's searching there, Passover has always seemed to be on a Wednesday prior to keeping this calendar, because I believed that, and this one can be a hard one. It was really hard for me, actually. I had to totally go back to the drawing board and open up, the possibilities that maybe my preconceptions aren't correct here. And I fought this one for a while, but the consensus typically is that Messiah had to be crucified on the real Passover. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yep.
And interestingly, in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, in all three of those Gospels, it says that on the day the Passover lambs were being sacrificed, and two of them say the first day of unleavened bread, I believe, that Yahusha sent the disciples to go and prepare a place to eat the Passover. So you have three witnesses telling you that the lambs are being sacrificed, which is supposed to be done on the 14th day.
Mhm.
And two of them say it's the first day of unleavened bread, and the 14th day is the first day that you eat unleavened bread. So that would fit, the first day of unleavened bread. And then he tells them to go prepare the Passover. Then later on during the evening, he says, I have desired to eat this Passover. So to me, it would make sense that if we have three witnesses telling us that he ate the Last Supper on Passover, that's probably what he did. And what I had to get out of my mind was, yes, he's our Passover lamb, but he wasn't a literal sacrifice. The instruction says you're supposed to slaughter the lamb in the temple. You're supposed to roast the flesh over a fire, eat as much of it as you can, and burn the rest of it before morning. None of those things happened to his body. None of them. So he's not a literal sacrifice. That's not what he was. So
Yeah. But
similarly,
in
the
that
Day of
regard,
Atonement,
too.
he's our. Go ahead. Yep.
I'm gonna say, yeah, he's our atonement. He's our sin sacrifice. He's our peace offering. He's all those things. The sacrifices foreshadowed what he would do as our high priest, but
Right.
he wasn't sacrificed or slaughtered, like you said, in the way of any of those that were prescribed.
Right. And he wasn't sacrificed, like you just said, for the Day of Atonement either. So he couldn't be our
Right.
atonement then if he's not sacrificed on that day. So
it also states very clearly in the Dead Sea Scrolls that Passover's on the third day of the week. It states it in several places.
yes, exactly.
And let's see, this is
It's right up here on the screen.
yeah, Mishmarach
You got it right on the screen, it says-
321.
Yep. I've got three of the places from the Passover or from the Dead Sea Scrolls listed on this slide on the screen. I didn't list the location, the number, document number, or scroll number, but I have them, and Matt has them. So yeah, if you go to the next slide on this, there's two more slides I think for the timing of Passover. So here's the three accounts that I mentioned from Matthew, Mark, and Luke of what said on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua and asked, "Where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover?" And then on the first day of unleavened bread, when the Passover lambs were being sacrificed, his disciples came to him, said, "Where do you want us to go and prepare for you to eat the Passover?" So I mean, it just seems to be that was the day of Passover, and it's been well documented all over the place. You can even find it on the Jewish Encyclopedia and several other, very prominent Jewish websites, that there were multiple calendars in play at that time, and there was great disagreement over which one was the correct calendar. So it would seem as though he was on this particular calendar and not on some of the other ones out there. If you want to jump to the next slide there, Matt, this will kind of just show how the yeah, it'll show. So you've got Passover on Tuesday, and then he ate the Passover that day. Then he did die, I believe, on Wednesday, and then you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So he's in the ground from Wednesday night. So you have 3 days and 3 nights if he rises before sunrise, like on Shabbat.
This is basically our version of the same calendar that you're showing there, Micah. But
Yep.
What we got, it's the 3 days and 3 nights. You have the sign of Jonah as he declared. And the other thing that's interesting is if you go back to Deuteronomy, or is it Deuteronomy, where it talks about where the camp where they stopped and camped during the Exodus, the night of the Exodus. So they came, like, you had Passover evening, then that morning they left out. That night they camped in Sukkoth. The next night they camped in Ethanim. Then they camped in Hayaroth. And then the night of the Shabbat, that's when the Red Sea crossing happened, and it's the same time that Yeshua rose. So it matches perfectly with the Exodus pattern. It matches perfectly with the sign of Jonah. You can't get it to fit if Passover was on Wednesday.